Thank you so much, Kaylee. We'll check in with the weather a little bit later. I'm glad it's a little bit cooler than 110 degrees here in Chattanooga right now. And talking about cool, we've got Mary O'Connell live from the Gateway to the West, St. Louis. How's it going, Mary? Let's talk a little AI, right?
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, like Kaylee mentioned, we just got that storm that I think is coming for you guys last night. It really cools things off. So I'm really hoping that it works out well for you guys.
Is it coming for us? Is there a storm coming for us? Is it like got our name or something? Is that what's happening?
Probably. I mean, if you're going to cool off, there's really only one way to do that.
Yeah, eventually there's got to be one out there with our name on it, right? So let's talk about AI, right? And I mean, it's a buzzword. It's been a buzzword for a while. A lot of people don't understand AI or what it means, artificial intelligence, or how it's done, that type of stuff, and they have all kinds of misconceptions. But in a brokerage, how do you bring it in on a day-to-day? First of all, let's explain it a little bit, and then how does it fit into the day-to-day at a brokerage?
So AI, as everyone knows, is artificial intelligence, most commonly associated with robots. So you'll see it a lot in warehouse spaces and, robots doing very fancy surgical things in all the TVs and movies. You see the fancy robots with AI, but you're also like, why should anyone in logistics or brokerages care about this? Well, AI does more than that. It can help you kind of streamline some processes. So if you have some pretty menial tasks where you have to go in and update times or make continuous check calls to people or anything like that, you can bring in that AI, and it's more of machine learning where it takes what you give it into it and then it spits it out. And so the more inputs you put, the more efficient it becomes. So for example, if you have like a chat feature on your website of like, contact us, talk with us now, for the most part, you can have AI do a lot of that and machine learning do a lot of that. Whereas some of where you don't have to have someone constantly monitoring it, you can free up that person to do literally anything else that, is a little trickier and doesn't necessarily sit there and for 8 hours a day go, yes, here's our email address. Yes, here's where you send a BOL to. Yes, thank you. Have a nice day. So stuff like that. And then also operationally. So you can use machine learning and AI to help optimize the route plan, et cetera, et cetera. So if you know that you have a bunch of routes and you want to keep your drivers running empty miles, or you want to hit some sustainability targets, you can implement a machine learning system that will help keep your drivers running and kind of cut down on waste. So from a brokerage perspective, you can just basically utilize that as like a contracted freight almost, or you can get a driver to go in a whole circle, like a giant continuous move, which will, ultimately help their bottom line, your bottom line, and keep everyone running and happy, making money like we all like to have.
So I think that people get kind of frightened when they hear the words artificial intelligence, right? Because it's gotten a bad rap. It's gotten some bad press in the media. It's gotten just kind of this like, robots are going to take over the world. I'm going to be out of the
movies, though.
Very cool movies. But like it's a scare tactic mainly, right? Like you see the evil robots and they're taking over the world, and it's like, we're artificial intelligence. But that's really not the case, because it is a helpful tool. It's an additional tool that you can put in your toolbox, and you don't necessarily have to use it all the time. But if you got these days where your folks are just overwhelmed with the amount of calls coming in and they're answering those same questions over and over again, then it might be time to look into this type of AI solution. What do you think that companies who maybe provide these types of solutions can be telling their prospective clients to maybe ease their fears a little bit, or make it a little bit more palatable than just, we're going to come in and take over your operations?
I think you can swing it as more of a, this is going to improve efficiencies, and maybe not say like, well, we have internet robots that are going to come in and make everything better. I think you can definitely kind of ease some fears and worries by saying like, ultimately, like, throw the cost saving numbers out there. So if you get like a data set from a prospective customer, more than likely you're running it through, your own analytics to see if you can save them money, where areas of improvement are, and what kind of bottom line, like, how you can say like, oh, we'll save you 10% right off the bat, something like that, where you can go in and say, well, by doing this and utilizing this model, we can make your network more efficient. We can cut down on your costs in a substantial way, not just by saying, oh, we'll beat the other guy's price by 10%. No, saying like, we do it because we have all of this, this technology, we have all this we have all this stuff that we've implemented. So therefore it makes your network more efficient. You have less late deliveries and less late pickups. I know any shipper would be like, yeah, okay, I'll take that in a heartbeat. And it makes you run better, and you have less waste, whether it's time waste, drivers dwell time waste. It just makes everything more efficient. So I think if you come at it from like a efficiency angle versus like hey, we have robots that come in and make everything better.
Yeah, because I mean, when you talk about AI and machine learning, et cetera, and robots, and you talk about bringing that into it, you're not bringing in this piece of software or virtual, the programming, whatever that is already intelligent, that's already smart. Like, okay, what am I doing today? Well, you're the janitor, whatever. You're implementing a system that can learn upon itself. So you're entering data in there about carriers, the carriers' efficiencies, what loads they like, what are their tending negotiating tactics, or these shippers' negotiating tactics, and allowing that data to build over and over again to make and help you make better decisions, so that when you do get that load, maybe you're not going through 5 different carriers to get to the 6 that it's going to fit and the customer's going to be happy with.
Right.
Because you've done it so many times, and because you've got this system that learns upon itself, it's going to automatically tell Mary O'Connell, use Kaylee, not Vincent. They hate Vincent, right? Or Kaylee likes that load better than Vincent does and will give you a better rate, whatever it happens to be, right? For instance.
Exactly.
So talk about the benefits. What do you sell the benefits on these brokers for that type of stuff, right? I mean, it's freeing up their time so they can go play beer pong or what?
Well, I mean, depending on what you have in your office, there's a pretty good chance that you got a ping pong table and a beer fridge, so that could be an option.
Yeah, could be cornhole. You never know.
Exactly. You'd be surprised what everyone has in their offices these days. But it not only frees that person up so that way so if you kind of can get some machine learning in there, and you yes, it's a slight upfront cost, but it kind of pays off over time, obviously, like most major investments do. But the more it frees up that broker, the more that broker can go out, get new business, build relationships with its customers that they currently have, find new customers, and free up their own time. So if that broker has to leave early for a personal reason, or, maybe it's Friday, they want to dip out early, they can work like that throughout the week. So that way they have more free time in their day and they get some of their own personal time back. But also, I know that if I don't have to sit there hunting down carriers, if I only have to make one or two phone calls as opposed to 5 or 6 to get a load covered, I'm going to take that time to maybe, do the paperwork that accounting's been hounding me to do. Maybe go find some missing BOLs or pick up stuff.
That's right.
Or maybe go talk to the guy sitting next to me because, we don't ever get a chance to talk.
That's right. Could have helped Mike Wazowski.
There you go. All right, Mary, thank you for joining us today. Great to have you. As always, we can catch Chet Call this afternoon, and go subscribe to her newsletter as well on freightwaves.com. Right now, we're going to head over to Christian Thomas for a look at what's trending on social media.